So for more on the future of Spain, Jose Aristimuno joins us now in the studio. He's the CEO of Now Strategies and former Deputy National Press Secretary of the Democratic Party here in the US. Jose, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you. Fascinating election because so much was riding on this, not just for Spain, but as you know, there's a lot going on in Europe now in terms of elections and populism. But the socialists seem to do a lot better than a lot of people expected. What does this mean for Spain and Spaniards?
Sure. Look, I think first and foremost, we saw that a majority of voters are looking. They're trying to go the moderate route, right? We got to remember, parties like Vox on the ultra right and folks like Podemos on the ultra left. They weren't able to gather a majority of voters. It's still 29%, right, for Mr. Sanchez, which is still not a whole lot, but this is the way multi-party system.
It's a proportional system, right?
That's exactly right. So he's going to have to negotiate. He's going to have to do a whole lot of coalition building if he's, for him to be able to govern and pass laws that would hopefully, better the economy, improve the economy.
So who does he dance with to get that coalition, and what will that coalition then do? Will he go right? Will he go left? What are the options?
Sure. Well, I think that's the big question, right? I mean, he's got two choices. I think he either, from the talks that I've been gathering, I think he's probably going to go a little bit to the left. It's what I see. But he can't go too left, you can't go too right? I mean, you're prime minister. You gotta be able to dance both ways.
Well, that's not the way politics are necessarily going everywhere else. So I'm just that's why I asked the question.
That's exactly right. I mean, I think first and foremost, a majority of voters want to improve the economy. That's the first thing. The second thing I would say, they want to end corruption. So he's got to be able to do that. He's got the issue with Catalonia, right? Because they've been having crisis for a while now. We know the majority of voters there. They wanted a referendum. They wanted to go independent, even though it was only 43% of participation. That still hasn't gone away, right?
I was going to bring up Catalonia in a minute, but I'm glad you brought it up because we can deal with it now. How much of an effect was that on this general election? Because as we know from the rallies in Barcelona and the referendum and then all the political problems that stem from that, that was a bit of a national crisis, which still hasn't essentially been solved.
This is what's interesting, what I see here. Both extremists, both parties, on the extreme left, extreme right, try to play scare politics, right? They try to play fear. They say, hey, if you don't elect me, this and ABC is going to happen. If you don't elect me, this horrible things are going to happen.
Politicians are the same everywhere, right?
Well, yeah, sure, including here in America, right? Don't get me started on that subject. But I think the important thing here, Nathan, is that I think there's a silent majority, which are extremely moderate. They're center type of folks, and those are the guys that came out, guys and girls that came out and voted on Sunday.
Okay, so let's switch the election. We were saying just before you came on air that Spain has recovered somewhat from the financial crisis, but not as well as people hope. What's the new government facing, and what's it going to do?
Well, I think, Mr. Sanchez was very clear. He wants to increase the minimum wage. I think that's the right approach. He wants to make sure that older folks are taken care of when it comes to pensions. He's gonna, there was an interesting comment that he said not too long ago when President Trump had said that the European Union was our enemy, which I think it's baloney and I think it's crazy. And Mr. Sanchez said, well, not so fast, Mr. President. Look, the European Union is a coalition of very strong countries. You got the top countries, Germany, France, Spain, what have you. He's going to have to, Mr. Sanchez is going to have to negotiate the way that you do politics anywhere else. Put everyone at the same table. Let's talk to each other, not at each other. That is the only way that he's going to have to do it. He's going to have to give up a little bit on both sides, and they're going to have to put country first. That's the way you do politics. Put country first. Let's put the Spaniards want the economy to do well, and that's, like you said, that's everywhere else, right? Folks just want to do well. They want to make sure that their pockets are filled.
Okay. Apart from bread and butter issues, just quickly, Vox. I mean, obviously, far-right politicians, populism, worrying some. What role are they going to play?
Look, I think Vox, even though they got some parliamentary seats, I don't think they represent a majority of Spaniards. I think some of their beliefs when it comes to anti-immigration, just like here, right? The super anti-immigrant sort of Republicans here in the United States, they're not going to go anywhere. I think in Spain the same way.
Have power to affect decision making.
Look, I think they'll have a say. But I think a majority of Spaniards will override whatever they have in mind.
So your final conclusion, a victory for socialists. Did Vox do as well as they thought? Where is the future of Spain heading?
Sure. Look, hopefully something gets done. One of my sort of like my worry here is that the country is so divided, mentally and politically, that maybe 4 years from now we might have the same conversation and it went nowhere. I hope people respect that the Prime Minister is Mr. Sanchez. I hope politicians from all parties are able to sit down at the table and say, you know what, we got to do this for the Spanish people. We got to make sure that their interests are ahead of politics.
Jose, thanks so much. Another divided democracy. It's quite incredible how
That's right.
everything is so divided in Western democracies at the moment. I really appreciate you coming.
Thanks so much.
Hope to see you again.